What is up, developers? Welcome back to the source. In this video, we're going to be installing Ruby on Rails on your Mac. Here's the game plan. This should work on macOS 14 or 15, maybe some other versions. Then we're going to be installing version managers and then going over basic troubleshooting tips. All right, here are the steps to install Ruby on Rails. First, get Homebrew, then get the Ruby version manager, rbenv. Then with rbenv, you can download Ruby, and then you can install Ruby on Rails. As part of your Homebrew installation, you'll get a few tools that come with Xcode command line tools. All right, let's go over some common issues. So the first one is adding rbenv to path. You also have to add Homebrew to path, and we'll go over the steps to do this. The second one is don't use the macOS system Ruby. It's out of date and inflexible, so make sure to always use the rbenv Ruby. And then after we go through all the steps, we'll go through a common bundle install error where you can't find the libpq header. All right, adding rbenv to the path. This lets you use rbenv as a terminal command and is as easy as running rbenv init. You can verify that this worked by checking your Z profile, which was previously called zshrc. And then after that, just make sure to restart your terminal. All right. You also don't want to use your macOS system Ruby because it's out of date. You can check which version of Ruby you're running by running ruby-v. So we're going to make sure to use a up-to-date Ruby version with rbenv. All right, after all that's done, we can get to developing Ruby on Rails on your machine. Let's get started with downloading Homebrew. So if you go to brew.sh, you can find Homebrew for macOS. They provide you a terminal command that can install Homebrew for you. So let's go ahead and open the terminal and then copy this line and paste it in. Then type in your password. It'll ask you to install Xcode command line tools. Press enter. And that starts the Homebrew installation. With the download of Homebrew complete, make sure to follow these next steps. This creates a Z profile file, and this adds a eval of the brew binary into the Z profile file. And finally, this last line runs the command. Brew should be available, and we should restart the terminal too. With brew installed, we can install rbenv. rbenv finished downloading, so now we can run rbenv init. We see this message writing Z profile, now configured. Let's check out our Z profile. So the little tilde means that it's in your home folder, and the dot means it's a hidden file. We can see the first line was for Homebrew, and the second one was added by rbenv init. Okay, we can now restart our terminal. Before we continue, I'm going to download a example Ruby on Rails project from my GitHub. And there's a Ruby version file. so we can check the Ruby version of this project is 3.3. Let's cd into the project. Let's check our Ruby version. We can see that we're still using the macOS system Ruby. So to use the correct Ruby version, 3.3, we have to use rbenv local 3.3. And since 3.3 is not yet installed, let's install Ruby 3.3. Okay, we got the installed Ruby 3.3 message, and we can try running rbenv local again. It looks like rbenv local is set to the correct version. We can also check rbenv global, and we could set the system Ruby to 3.3 as well, the global 3.3.0. Now be careful, it still says we're using 2.6, so I'm going to restart the terminal. Okay, let's cd back into the project directory, and now check our Ruby version. Okay, we're set to the correct Ruby version. We can run bundle install, which will begin installing the gems in the gem file. Okay, the bundle install completed. And if we see this line right here, it installed Ruby on Rails version 7.0. But since that was the first time we installed Rails, the Rails command is not yet available in the terminal. So we have to restart the terminal again. Cd'd back into the project directory, and the Rails command is available. To get the database set up, we're going to run Rails db migrate, and we can run Rails db seed. Now our Rails app should be ready to run. If I go to localhost 3000, we can see that the Rails app is running. All right, developers, that's all you need to get started with developing Ruby on Rails on your Mac. I did say that I wanted to go over the libpq error, and for that, let's edit the gem file. And then below Ruby, I'm going to add a gem PG for Postgres. It's a very common gem to get because PostgreSQL is a super popular database. So let's try running bundle install. All right, so we got an error in the gem file for PG. So let's go up. All right, so we got this error when we ran the bundle install command because we are missing a dependency for the Postgres gem. And the solution to that is to brew install PostgreSQL because Postgres depends on PostgreSQL. I'm going to restart the terminal and cd into the project and run bundle install. Bundle install succeeded, and that concludes the tutorial on how to install Ruby on Rails for your Mac.